Hyundai's SUV game is really strong. They have a total of 6 SUVs or crossovers in their lineup, but they only have 3 sedans if you count the tiny accent. But that should tell you something. We absolutely love our SUVs and crossovers. My name is Omar, and today I'm test driving the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Alright, so gone are the days where you had the Santa Fe and the Santa Fe Sport. Before the arrival of the 3-row Palisade, the Santa Fe filled the 3rd-row void in Hyundai's lineup. You had the Santa Fe Sport, which was the 5-seater SUV, and then you had the regular Santa Fe, which was 3 rows. But now we just have the Santa Fe, and the world is a little less confusing because now if you want 3 rows, you just go ahead and go for the Palisade. I know I've mentioned this before, that even though Hyundai and Kia are part of the same parent company, they function very differently. And here's a perfect example of that. The Kia Sorento used to be just a standard 2-row SUV, but now it is a 3-row SUV, even though Kia has the 3-row Kia Telluride. Hyundai, on the other hand, isn't playing that game anymore. You just have the 2-row Santa Fe, and then you have the 3-row Palisade. Nonetheless, to spice things up for the Santa Fe, Hyundai is now offering a way more upscale version of the Santa Fe called the Calligraphy, and that's what I'm test driving today. That said, let me give you a tour of the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy, and then make sure you stick around until the end for my driving impressions and my thoughts on whether or not if you should buy this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's do this. All right, let's do it like we always do by taking a look at all of the cool and interesting things that you should know about the new Hyundai Santa Fe. However, since I've already reviewed a bunch of Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis models, we're gonna do a quick rapid fire session instead of diving too deep into detail. But if you want deeper details on these features, I've linked a bunch of my other Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis reviews in the description below, so you can go check those out, but let's hop into this rapid fire session. All right, so just like the Hyundai Sonata and the Genesis GV80 that I tested, the Santa Fe also has Smart Park, which you can use to get out of a tight parking spot if you can't get in by yourself, but I've really never seen anybody use it. I've tested a bunch of Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis models that have had Smart Park, but I've never had a situation where I've had to use this desperately. But it's a cool party trick nonetheless. Next up, so Hyundai is definitely killing it when it comes to digital gauge cluster displays. They're simple, they are quick, and they're very informative, and not to mention those animations are really next level. Love this. Now, almost all Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis models have sounds of nature ambient sounds, so if you have some road rage, get some help by listening to soothing sounds of nature. Snowy Village is just weird. Warm fireplace is where it's at. So yeah, next time you get angry, buy a Hyundai, and you can enjoy sounds of nature. And then you have passenger talk in a 2-row SUV. Why do you need passenger talk in a 2-row SUV? I find it weird to have it in a 3-row SUV, but it's understandable there. But in a 2-row SUV, either way, you have it so the rear passengers who are sitting oh so far away can hear you better. Now, if the passengers in the back seat want to get some sleep, you can be nice and activate quiet mode so all the media sound is moved up to the front so they can get some rest. One of my favorite features in all Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis models is the blind spot cameras. Indicate left and a camera view will appear showing you what's in your left blind spot. Here in the gauge cluster, indicate right and it'll show you what's on the right side. This is very cool. Next up, let's talk about pricing. Pricing for the Santa Fe SE, the base model, starts at $27,000. So the Calligraphy is a top of the line model, which starts at $40,750. So yeah, the Calligraphy trim level is the most upscale trim of the Santa Fe. It's almost like going to Genesis level luxury without going for a Genesis. The Calligraphy model builds on the Limited model, so a lot of the tech and features you see here, you can get on the Limited, but the Calligraphy just takes it a notch higher with some extra luxury. With the Calligraphy, you get 20-inch wheels that are exclusive to the Calligraphy trim level. I have 19-inch exclusive wheels here, and I think they look a lot better. You also get a more premium looking grille than the regular Santa Fe models. You also get beautiful quilted Napa leather seats that are extremely soft and extremely plush and very, very comfortable. And then you also have premium trim on the doors. You'll see nice stitching all around the cabin, and everything in here just feels very luxurious in areas that you really wouldn't expect. For example, you get a nice suede headliner, which is really nice. I don't know how many people out there actually touch the headliner. You get expanded ambient lighting themes, so it lights up really, really nice in here compared to the regular Santa Fe models. And you also get auto up and down rear windows because, you know, you can't have those if you're poor. And then you also get a full color heads-up display. But yeah, all this is kind of strange to me because you'll be paying over $42,000 for a Hyundai Santa Fe, which is exactly what I expect the Genesis GV70 to start around when that drops. So I think a lot of people would go for the GV70 over a hyped up Santa Fe. Also, one major issue that I have with the calligraphy is that they don't mention that this is the highest level trim of the Santa Fe anywhere on the back. If I paid this much for a Santa Fe, I'd want people to know that I'm rich and I drive a calligraphy while they are just peasants driving in a SE or SEL. All right, let's talk horsepower and torque. Power comes from a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine that Hyundai has been using in a lot of its products. It makes 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to an 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission. You've seen this engine in the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, and you've also seen it in the new Kia Sorento that I recently reviewed. This engine option is only available on the limited trim levels and above, so the calligraphy and the limited get this engine. And if you want all-wheel drive on any of the Santa Fe trims, you will have to pay an extra $1,700. Either way, that engine makes the Santa Fe very, very fun to drive. 0 to 60 comes in just 6 seconds flat, which is pretty impressive, and you have a top speed of 131 miles an hour. When it comes to drive modes, you have comfort, sport, snow, and you can't go all the way around. You have to go all the way back, and you have smart, so you can't go full circle. You would have to go to snow and then go all the way back to smart if you want to select smart. I just wish you can go in a full circle. That's just me moaning and complaining for no reason. Fuel economy comes in at 21 city and 28 highway. You have an 18.8 gallon tank capacity. I usually show you what I'm averaging, but I just refueled and I reset the info in the gauge cluster. So I'm averaging about 9.9 miles a gallon right now. Not true because I've been sitting in the park idling while I'm filming, so don't take that for anything. All right, so let's check out this exterior design, because at first it might be hard to tell the 2021 Santa Fe apart from the outgoing model year, but look closely and you'll notice that the 2021 Santa Fe looks bolder and more luxurious. All Santa Fe's do get a 3-dimensional grille across the lineup, and like I mentioned earlier, the calligraphy grille is just a little bit more stylish. And then the lighting game is pretty strong. I really like these headlamps with the T-shaped illumination. Here's what they look like with the indicators on. As you know, with Hyundai's newer models, the headlamps are at the bottom and the LED daytime running lights are at the top. The new Santa Fe also has a more sculpted hood, so it makes it look a little bit beefier, and you also have stronger character lines around the whole SUV to make it look sharper. Overall, it's pretty nice for the segment that it's competing in. Oh, and I just want to point out that the rear taillights here on the Santa Fe remind me a lot of Audi. Let's check out the cargo capacity before we move on. And just like other Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis products, you have smart liftgate or smart trunk, so you can just walk up to the back of your Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis, hold the key anywhere you want, and it will pop the trunk open. Here you have 36 cubic feet behind the second row and 72 cubic feet with the second row folded. Now, unlike the Kia Sorento, the Hyundai Santa Fe goes for a no third row option, which I appreciate. You have 2 rows, just the first row and the second row, and you have a bunch of cargo capacity in the back, which is very useful. A third row in the Sorento was kind of tight. I understand in situations where you could use it if you have a pet, but you know, this is plenty of space. If you want 3 rows, go up to the Hyundai Palisade. One cool thing that I wanted to point out, you actually have automatic release buttons here for the second row. So you just push those and the second row will fold down. Very cool. Now let's take a seat inside the new Santa Fe, and you'll notice that it's pretty nice. It's actually quite an upgrade over the outgoing model in terms of design, quality, and tech. Now yes, this being the calligraphy top of the line model, it's much nicer here than in other trim levels of the Santa Fe, but I checked out the interior on the other trim levels and they're not so bad. Everything on the calligraphy feels really, really nice. Everything is wrapped in soft leather or fake leather. It just feels like a very nice Genesis SUV. But don't worry, if you don't care about this whole soft Napa leather stuff or suede headliners, you can just go for the Limited and still enjoy a lot of the stuff that you see here. The Santa Fe Limited will still give you heated and cooled seats along with the heated steering wheel. The SEL only gets heated seats. And rear passengers will also get to enjoy heated rear seats on the Limited model, and the Limited will also give you manual rear shades in the back. But if you want to get those auto up and down window buttons, again, you have to go for the calligraphy because you can't be poor and have auto up and down rear windows. Now, tech-wise, the Limited will still give you the larger 10.25-inch touchscreen display with navigation. Wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto are standard across the whole Santa Fe lineup, so that's pretty clutch. You'll also get the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster display on the Limited trim, as well as the Harman Kardon sound system, a really big and giant panoramic roof that looks really nice. It brightens up the cabin quite a bit. You also get ambient lighting in the Limited and a bunch of driver assist tech, including Hyundai's Highway Driving Assist. And of course, you'll also get Smart Park on the Limited trim. So yeah, you don't have to go crazy dropping a lot of money on the calligraphy. You can just go for the Limited. You just won't have Napa leather, suede headliner, and all this other nice luxurious touches. And let's check out the rear legroom before we move on. You have a massive 41.7 inches of legroom back here. I'm about 6 foot tall. That is my seating position. As you can see, I still have plenty of room And again, the limited models give you heated seats in the back and you get a manual shade. So Limited and Calligraphy give you heated rear seats and a manual shade. Now, before I give you my opinion on how the new Santa Fe drives, let me point out a few random things that I'll have to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front, and then you have 2 in the back for the rear passengers in the center armrest. You also have 4 bottle holders on each door. I don't count those as cup holders, I count them as bottle holders. Here are what the keys look like to the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Again, no calligraphy badge, it kind of pisses me off, but whatever. You have lock, unlock, trunk, panic, and you have your smart park buttons and remote start. Pretty dope. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. Pretty solid indeed. Charging game wise, you have a vertical wireless charger right here. So you slide your phone in here vertically and it will charge. And then you have a USB port here for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto projection and charging. You also have a USB port right here under the center console along with some storage. So that's pretty dope. Rear passengers get 2 USB ports and a household outlet to charge their devices. So they're pretty well equipped back here. And of course, let's hear the indicator and horn sound test here on the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Indicator first. Just the same as every other Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. And now for the horn sound, let me lower my window. Oh yeah, pretty solid. Not disappointing at all. And now that I've given you a tour of the 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy, let me give you my opinion on how it drives. All right, let's get to it. So let's just set aside this upscale calligraphy trim talk for a second and let's just talk about the Santa Fe itself. As a daily driver, the new Santa Fe is definitely way more refined. It's very comfortable, and I did notice that it is luxury car quiet in here. You don't hear a lot of the outside world in this cabin. My test model here is powered by a 281 horsepower 4-cylinder turbo engine that Hyundai has been using in a bunch of its cars, including the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, the Genesis GV80, and the Genesis G80, the entry-level versions, and you also see it on the new Kia Sorento. But is it too much power for the Santa Fe? I know in my review of the Kia Sorento, I said that anybody that complains about too much horsepower is just plain boring. I still stand behind that statement 100%, but I did notice when it comes to the drive modes, this thing acts very differently. In comfort mode, this thing is very comfortable and way smoother, obviously. But when you're in sport mode, and let's put it in sport mode, it feels a little bit jerky. It's not an uncomfortable jerkiness, but it feels like it's pushing unnecessarily hard. I would only pop this into sport mode if I needed to take over somebody. Otherwise, I would just keep it in comfort mode and you'll enjoy this ride quality quite a bit. Handling wise, it's pretty much what you would expect for a mid-size SUV. It's pretty well composed. In sport mode, the steering wheel does get a little bit tighter, but again, it's not anything that you'll be taking to the track. Comparing this to the Ford Edge or the Nissan Murano, I will say that the Santa Fe just feels a little bit more solid. As a family SUV, the new Santa Fe checks all the boxes. You have a bunch of legroom in the second row, you have a bunch of cargo capacity, you have a lot of tech in here, and you have comfort. All right, so let's talk about this whole calligraphy thing. You don't really need it at all. Why? Because while it is really nice in here and it shows what Hyundai is capable of, you're spending over $40,000 for the calligraphy trim. And as tested here, you're looking at over $43,000, which in my opinion is pretty insane for a Santa Fe. I mean, at that point, why not just go for the Palisade SEL, which starts at around $35,000, or even spend 10 grand more, around $45,000 if your budget allows, and go for the Palisade Limited. I don't care if you don't need 3 rows. At that point, you're just getting more car for your money. Or why not just wait for the Genesis GV70, which will probably start around $42,000. I mean, are there really people out there that would pick the Santa Fe Calligraphy over a Genesis GV70? Because if there are, I really need to talk to them. Especially because it doesn't say calligraphy anywhere on the outside or anywhere on the inside, so you can't even show off the fact that you spent this much on a Santa Fe. That said, the new Hyundai Santa Fe is a great mid-size SUV. Just don't go for the calligraphy, because the calligraphy is just a Hyundai Santa Fe Limited wearing a really nice suit. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace. The thing is very comfortable and very nice. Just go for the Limited. You'll be happy. You have everything that you have in the calligraphy just without this nice headliner. You don't need to pay extra for this nice headliner or these Nappa leather seats. Just save your money or spend it on the Genesis GV70.